Hey everybody, it's Nick Inman, founder of VolumeProfileTrader.com on Wednesday, January 2nd, 2013. So here we are bringing in the new year, and the markets, as everyone knows, had a huge explosion to the upside after the fiscal cliff resolution. And it's good to see that. It's good to see that the market can finally do something. So basically, in the month of December, it was really sideways chop, and I'm going to zoom in so we can actually see. And it was sideways chop relative to where we started the month. We started the month around, if I recall, around 14.15, closed the month just above around 14.25. So less than 1% gain on the market. But now, obviously, in one day, we've already seen an explosion off of those levels. So what I'm going to do is keep this video pretty short and sweet, go through the levels, and kind of get a gauge of where we could possibly go. So what I'm going to do is bring in the hourly chart. And what I want to say, first of all, is looking back at November's point of control at 1385, notice those were the lows. That's important to realize, that these point of controls for the month, I mean, they are so strong, they're so powerful, and they're so useful, and that's what I think is important. So now that we have no, and this is important, we have no point of controls from prior months other than December that have not been touched, and that's what we want to be paying attention to now. Back here, here, I'll just show you. How about that? All right. This was the one point of control that had to be touched. It finally did. Those were our lows. And then again, in November, finally those lows were touched. It just offset a little bit due to me zooming out some. So the only issue we have here is at some magical moment in time, we will retest this 1410 level. I'm not going to say it's going to be this month or next month, but as you can see, the market can run a little bit away from these before it decides to retest it, but it will retest it ultimately, and that will be a downside target at some point in the future. I just want you to be aware of that, so you can kind of keep it in your head. Don't necessarily trade just to trade down to those levels. That would be a mistake, because if the trend is higher, then there is no doubt about that. You want to stick with it, but then again, you don't want to you don't only want to be looking at one side of the market. You want to be on both sides, and you just want to use that as a target. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom back down. This 1458 level, the top of this high volume area for the month of October. Guess what the highs were today into the close? We slammed into that level. Excuse me, I'm not feeling good, but sorry, I had to pause it for a second. So getting back into it, that top of the high volume area is resistance for now. I just want you to keep an eye on it. If we move above that level, then we're going to go retest the highs, 1468, another 10 points up. And members, be sure to look at January's monthly newsletter. And for everyone, the trading results for December, they're out. They're pretty useful tools there. You can see the trades we got in, the days we got in them. Overall, I mean, considering the month of December was flat for the S&P, the trading results were rather impressive, and that goes with mismanaging the JP Morgan trade. That goes with mismanaging. We took Cliffs off way too early. Took Cliffs off. The last part of the position got taken off around just under $34. So we literally bought the low bar here. This 27.96 we bought the next hour, and then we rode through this. I did send out a recommendation to take half off during this chop, and then it eventually broke out. We saw a nice move to the upside, and now it got as high as $40. So we bought it sub 30, traded 40 in 1 month. The gains on that position were still, I think it was around 14%, so it's still good. Overall, what I do want to say though is the euro. I have a feeling that we're going to go test 131, about 100 ticks down from current levels. This point of control for December 30.85, excuse me, and then 27.25. These are levels that you want to pay attention to, and just be aware of. There's a likelihood at some point we'll retest it. Now that we're seeing a triple top here on, or lower highs or whatever, however you want to call it, on the euro. The point is that the bears are making money on this too, and it's not just a bull case, and that's what you want to pay attention to. Similarly, on the dollar, you had a huge rally today off of the lows, and notice, and I'll just say it because I said in the newsletter, since these lows were made, every gap down has been a buying opportunity, and again we saw that today. We touched and busted through the point of control for last month. Now we're at the 90-day point of control, the value area high for last month, the 50-day moving average. These are what you want to pay attention to, and you want to think, okay, there's a lonely point of control up here that never got touched. 81, 08, 09, whatever you want to call it. It got close on one day, then it failed obviously miserably. But these are the type of things that you want to pay attention to. You want to mark them down just so when you do have a potential breakout to the upside, at least you have a target. So, this is some bullish development down here. I'm not going to, put on a long dollar position because that was kind of my position in December, was a heavy dollar position. However, it's just something that you do want to pay attention to. For those who stayed long, U.S. Steel, you got paid off handsomely today. I did take the majority of the position off right around right below 24.50. We got the pullback, and then obviously we got a huge breakout off of that. That was tough. If you stayed in, bravo, but that wasn't me. And your target is on the upside is 26.75 or so. Gold, bouncing off the lower end of this range with, the government thing, the fiscal cliff, you kind of expect that, oversold bounce, whatever you want to call it. Oil, this is why these one-year point of controls can be so, useful, is point of control for oil down at 86, where's the buy, 80, right, the last touch of these levels was right here. You got a nice U-turn off them and a move to the upside. Last one I want to say is copper. This looks like it wants to break out. Again, point of control for the year. I do think the buy was down here sub 350 back in November. If you were to still hold, then obviously it would be good. But this looks like it wants to try and break out. So we'll see if it does. Your next target's around 380 or 385 or so, and then about $4 on copper. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. Obviously Freeport, you're getting a monster bounce off of those lows. And we talked about that when Freeport had this free fall. That it's probably a buying opportunity. Now, it dipped one more day. I was looking for a buying opportunity actually on that day, and then it dipped, and then it moved higher. So that's good to see, but, it is what it is. We missed it. Another one that I'm kind of disappointed with that I mismanaged was Goldman Sachs. Took the breakout here. Pretty good buy. It was like right around 122. Had a nice pop the next couple of days. Took profits pretty early, and now we're at new highs. So just something that you want to pay attention to. So overall, this market looks rather strong, and you want to ride this thing until it bucks you off. So just trail your stops. Make sure if you have winners, they don't turn into losers, because that's unnecessary. But if you have winners, let them run. Let them do what they have to do, because usually it runs further than what it normally would. Another thing I want to mention is Apple. This is the same situation. You get these point of controls at the bottom end of the range that form. They provide for good opportunity. I personally, I didn't send an alert out for this, but I personally got long Apple right around 509. I did take some profits pretty early that next day, around 5, it was like 513 or something. And now I'm just riding the other half of that now. So this looks good. The point of control for the last 90 days did shift from this cluster here down to 550 or so. So I want to keep my eye on this. As long as we hold the value area high for last month, this is a name that I want to continue to ride. I think that we have a good chance of retesting this gap here, this point of control up here around 585 or so. We have the 50-day moving averages, both exponential and simple, right above us, so obviously it's going to cause some selling pressure naturally. But let it consolidate here for a couple of days, maybe like a little flag pattern develop, something along those lines. But I'm really looking for this thing to explode to the upside some more. If you want, you can keep your stop at this average true range, which is 527 right now. That gives it some wiggle room for sure, but that also ensures that if it does try and close this gap and touch this high volume area here, that you're still involved. Of course, this is going to move up, over the course of the next couple of days. So, really, that's all I have to say for the markets. Is if you were extra long going into this new year, congratulations, you really did get paid off. There was a risk to that. Maybe you didn't think so, but that's the reason why I was, heavily in cash. So, I'm enjoying the benefits of being long Starbucks. Not new 52-week highs, but new 90-day highs. That's why I'm benefiting on ConocoPhillips, on some GLD, which is just a longer-term position. Oh, I need to talk about that too. And Apple. I think that's all I'm long. But back on gold, what I want to say is you use this monthly point of control, and I'm giving you pearls here because this is what I put in the monthly newsletter. You use last month's point of control as your reference. Sellers, you're looking, and I really am giving you pearls here. You're looking at this volume here declining. You have one of two trades. One, we're going to sell off from this point of control for last month, and it's going to give you an opportunity down to 1675 or so, which is short term. Or you're going to consolidate here on light volume, and if you push through this point of control here, 1695 or so, you're probably going to go to 1716 rather quickly, which is the 90-day point of control. And also, we need to still touch this point of control that hasn't been touched around 1727, and then this point of control up at 1776. So there's a lot of levels on gold that we need to be paying attention to. If I zoom out a little more, you can also see that, yes, there are some point of controls down here that are yet to be touched. Sure, it's a two-way street, but again, use December's point of control as your reference. You're either going to get a good selling opportunity here. I don't really like the volume on the sell side so much right now, or you're going to get a good buying opportunity. Over the long term, I am long GLD, so I'm not really too concerned about the short-term fluctuations, but I just wanted to point that out. So anyways, take care. I hope you had a great new year, and I'll talk to you next time.